In the name of Allah. Hello, and do not be tired. I hope you are always energetic. I am Roya Yousufi, and with some important and interesting news today, January 24, 2022. Some important news. U.S. draws down Ukraine. Embassy presence as war fears mount, AP. The State Department on Sunday ordered the families of all American personnel at the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine to leave the country amid heightened fears of a Russian invasion. The department told the dependents of staffers at the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv that they must leave the country. It also said that non-essential embassy staff could leave Ukraine at government expense. The move came amid rising tensions about Russia's military buildup on the Ukraine border that were not eased during talks Friday between Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in Geneva. State Department officials stressed the Kyiv embassy will remain open and that the announcement does not constitute an evacuation. The move had been under consideration for some time and does not reflect an easing of U.S. support for Ukraine, the official said. In a statement, the State Department noted recent reports that Russia was planning significant military action against Ukraine. However, the Russian Foreign Ministry has accused NATO countries of escalating tensions around Ukraine with disinformation. The State Department added, the security conditions, particularly along Ukraine's borders, in Russia-occupied Crimea, and in Russia-controlled eastern Ukraine, are unpredictable and can deteriorate with little notice. Demonstrations, which have turned violent at times, regularly occur throughout Ukraine, including in Kyiv. The department's travel advisory, which had warned against traveling to Ukraine because of COVID-19 as well as the tensions over Russia, was changed Sunday to carry a stronger warning. Do not travel to Ukraine due to the increased threats of Russian military action and COVID-19. Exercise increased caution in Ukraine due to crime and civil unrest. Some areas have increased risk, the department advised. The travel advisory for Russia was also changed. Do not travel to Russia due to ongoing tension along the border with Ukraine, the potential for harassment against U.S. citizens, the embassy's limited ability to assist U.S. citizens in Russia, COVID-19 and related entry restrictions, terrorism, harassment by Russian government security officials, and the arbitrary enforcement of local law. The State Department would not say how many Americans it believes are currently in Ukraine. U.S. citizens are not required to register with embassies and they arrive or plan to stay abroad for extended periods. Also the next news. Huda Kamash, speaking for Afghan women's rights activists, on Sunday in Oslo, said Afghan women want equal rights and those rights should not be limited. She said all Afghan political players should agree on a roadmap to resolve issues through dialogue. Also the next news. An Islamic Emirate force member was killed and another was wounded in clashes with armed robbers in PD-10 of Mazar-e-Sharif on Sunday evening, said Mohammed Asif Waziri, spokesman of the Provincial Security Department. Also the next news. Oslo, U.S. Special Envoy for Afghan Women Rina Amiri welcomed Norway's hosting a meeting with Afghan women and civil society members and the Islamic Emirate delegates, saying such meetings should also take place between Taliban and Afghans inside the country. Also the next news. Afghanistan Central Bank says that $32 million in cash arrived in Kabul on Sunday as part of the ongoing humanitarian support to Afghanistan and was transferred to Afghanistan International Bank, AIB. Also the next news. Islamic Emirate meets with Afghan civil society members in Oslo. The Islamic Emirate delegation, led by Acting Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi, met with Afghan civil society members on Sunday in Oslo. The U.S. Special Envoy for Afghanistan Thomas West tweeted from Oslo, saying he welcomed Norway's taking the initiative to hold a meeting between the Islamic Emirate delegation and the Afghan civil society leaders. Welcome our host's initiative to bring Afghan civil society and Taliban together for dialogue, Civil society leaders are the backbone of healthy and prosperous economies and societies, he said. As we seek to address humanitarian crisis together with allies, partners, and relief organizations, we will continue clear-eyed diplomacy with the Taliban regarding our concerns and our abiding interest in a stable, rights-respecting, and inclusive Afghanistan. The Islamic Emirate spokesman Zabiullah Mujahid said that the participants of the summit recognize that understanding and joint cooperation are the only solutions to Afghan problems. The participants of the Oslo summit reaffirmed that Afghanistan is the common home of all Afghans, and emphasized that all Afghans need to work together for better political, economic, and security outcomes in the country, he said. Following this, the delegation will first meet with the U.S. envoys, a spokesman for the Islamic Emirate said, adding that the talks would focus on the release of the frozen assets, the removal of its members' names from the blacklist, and the extension of relations between Kabul and Washington. The Islamic Emirate delegates landed in Norway's capital Oslo on Saturday night. In the first meeting, with the Americans, the release of the Afghan assets, the removal of the blacklist, and also the resumption and extension of bilateral ties will be discussed, said Inamullah Samangani, deputy spokesman for the Islamic Emirate. The visit is the first of the Islamic Emirates delegation to Europe. The meeting will be held from January 23 to 25, according to a statement of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Norway. Afghan missions abroad, which are run by diplomats of the former government, in a joint statement praised Norway for convening the talks on Afghanistan, but called for further pressure by the international community for the formation of an inclusive government as well as to ensure human rights in the country. The force which came to power after the changes is not inclusive and it doesn't reflect the wishes and intentions of the people, said Zarafi Yacobi, a member of the Maj and Tawal movement. However, the official invitation of the Islamic Emirates delegation to Norway faced diverse reactions. A movement named Afghanistan Women's Government in Exile, in a statement accused the Islamic Emirate of violating human rights and criticized the Norwegian government for inviting the Kabul delegation. Some Afghans living in Europe staged protests in Oslo over the talks as well in front of the Norwegian embassy in London. Thank you for being with us until the end. Thank you, and please do not forget to subscribe to Roya Yousufi News channel and activate the alarm sign to be informed of our latest programs. Allah Hafez.